Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be going over all the books that I read in the month of April. I know I'm kind of behind on these videos, but please bear with me y'all. I'm catching up. Also, as you can see, I got a mic, not off TikTok Shop. Not off TikTok Shop, but I did hear about this mic from TikTok. So I just went onto Amazon and I picked the mic up and I'm enjoying this. I hope you guys enjoy the better sound quality. And without further ado, let's get into the 9 books that I read this month. I read 6 physical copies and then I read 3 books on my Kindle. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the first book that I read this month. All right, so the first book that I read this month is called Did You Hear About Kitty Carr? And I'm not going to talk your ear off too much about this book because I did make a whole video explaining how much I enjoyed reading this. And this is definitely the most, I wouldn't say the most interesting thing that I read, but definitely my favorite book of 2024 so far. And we're currently in the month of May, so I've read a lot of books since then, but I'm not going to go into too much depth. I'm just going to read the first paragraph of the synopsis for you guys. When Kitty Carr Tate, a white icon of the silver screen, dies and bequeaths her multi-million-dollar estate to the St. John sisters, 3 young, wealthy Black women, it prompts questions, lots of questions. So yeah, I love this book, enjoyed it so much. This is the author's Crystal Smith Pauls. This is her debut novel, so hopefully she's coming out with more books. And let's jump into the next one. So, Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough is the next book that I read. And y'all, this book was so crazy. The ending was crazy. I could not have predicted that. No way. That was definitely a crazy twist, and I would like to read more of her work. I know that a lot of people have already seen the show on Netflix. They did a limited series on this. I didn't finish it yet, but the book was just so mind-blowing. I was like, wow, like this was crazy. I definitely want to read something else like this because I never would have thought like what happened happened. Anyways, so let's jump into the synopsis. Louise, a single mom and secretary, is deeply embarrassed when she discovers that the man who sweet-talked and kissed her in the bar on a rare night out is her new boss, David. And Adele, new to town and lonely, who invited Louise for coffee after they bumped into each other on the street. Adele is David's wife. From the outside, David and Adele look like a picture-perfect husband and wife. But then why is David so controlling and why is Adele so scared? As Louise is drawn further into David and Adele's orbit, she uncovers more puzzling questions. The only thing that is crystal clear is that something in this marriage is very, very wrong. But Louise can't guess how wrong or how far a person might go to protect their marriage's secrets. Like I said, that book was crazy. You should definitely check it out if you're looking for a different type of thriller. It definitely gave Third Wheel vibes, but you will see in the end what happens. And I'm going to leave it at that. So the next book that I read is called A Moth to a Flame by Ashley Antoinette. And this is classified as an urban romance, I believe. And it's very, very interesting. It's about a family, a husband and a wife, and their daughter Raven is the main character in this book. And Raven goes through a lot of things. We are going through her journey to adulthood and what that means as a woman, being in a relationship and learning what you should and shouldn't do and who you should and shouldn't trust. And this also has spin-offs, which the spin-offs are what I ended up reading this month as well. This author wrote 6 books about the character named Ethic. And I must say, Ethic is one of my favorite characters in this book as well. This was very, very interesting. And if you're into or if you're interested in urban romance, I would definitely say give this a try. I read this in like 2 or 3 days. It was a quick read. It was really, really good. Really, really interesting. The next book that I read is called One Last Job by Anise Stair. And I did read, I believe in my March wrap up, I read One Week in Paradise. That was the other one. And then this one's called One Last Job. Out of the two, I believe I like them an equal amount. Like they're very cute, fluffy reads, and they're not too deep or like introspective, but at the same time, the author does get her point across about what she wants to convey about a particular subject. So I like these. I like the first one, I like this one, and hopefully I will like the last one. The last one is actually about Dane, which is the brother of the character in the first book, Bailey. So yeah, the two main characters in this one were Amber and Finn, and they're both kind of similar in the fact that they want to make a name for themselves, they want to do good work, and they want to be known by the work that they do. And yeah, they end up having to work together and things take off from there. So I'm going to leave it at that. I did enjoy this book. I believe I read this in one day. Great to, I would say it's great if you're in a reading slump and you like romances, or you just want to read another romance. This was a good read. All right, y'all. The next book that I read is called Just the Nicest Couple, and this is by Mary Kubaka. And I have to say, I did not enjoy this that much. And I say that because the characters in this book, it was mainly not dialogue. It was mainly the author explaining the characters, why they did the things that they did, how they lived their lives. And I just wasn't that interested or invested in the characters. And I usually feel in a thriller, you don't have to be that interested or invested because the point is to thrill. And so I feel like for me, this just wasn't for me. I was drawn to this because of the cover. It was really, really pretty. I also heard somebody else on TikTok say that as well. Very, very pretty cover. But yeah, I just wasn't that interested in it. And also the twist at the end, I wouldn't say that it was predictable, but it also didn't catch me by surprise, if that makes sense. So yeah, if you want something that doesn't have a lot of dialogue in it, I would say get this because it's more of an introspective book about the characters in the book. So let me go over the characters. Let me read the synopsis for you guys. Jake Hayes is missing. This much is certain. At first, his wife Nina thinks he is blowing off steam at a friend's house after a heated fight the night before. But then a day goes by, 2 days, 5, and Jake is still nowhere to be found. Lily Scott, Nina's friend and co-worker, thinks she may have been the last to see Jake before he went missing. After Lily confesses everything to her husband, Christian, the two decide that nobody can find out what happened leading up to Jake's disappearance. Especially not Nina, but Nina is out there looking for her husband and she won't stop until the truth is discovered. So, based off that alone, I was very, very intrigued. But like I said, everyone in this book needed to grow as a person, and I do mean everyone, and that is demonstrated. It wasn't for me, but definitely pick it up if you're not that into dialogue. All right, y'all, the last physical copybook that I read is called Love in Other Words by Christina Lauren. And I actually saw this on Shanti Stroder's channel. She suggested this book, and so I picked it up and I was not disappointed. I love this book. I love the main characters. Their love was very, I don't want to say different. It just grew on you. It was something that, as friends, young adults, they grew into their relationship. And I really liked that and enjoyed that, building on friendship. And that is exactly what they did in this book. So I'm going to read the synopsis for you guys. This book has been going around TikTok booktube for a long time, so I'm sure y'all have heard of it before. Macy Sorensen is settling into an ambitious, if emotionally tepid routine. Work hard as a new pediatrics resident, plan her wedding to an older, financially secure man, keep her head down and heart tucked away. But when she runs into Elliot Petropoulos, the first and only love of her life, the careful bubble she's constructed begins to dissolve. Once upon a time, Elliot was Macy's entire world, growing from her gangly, bookish friend into the man who coaxed her heart open again, only to break it on the very night he declared his love for her. Told in alternating timelines between then and now, teenage Elliot and Macy grow from friends to much more, spending weekends and lazy summers together in a house outside San Francisco, devouring books, sharing favorite words, and talking through their growing pains and triumphs. That pretty much summed it up right there. The words, and that is why it is called Love in Other Words. I really enjoyed this, really enjoyed this. I would definitely read this again. I would say this is a 5-star read. Definitely a 5-star read for me. If you enjoy friends to lovers stories and second chance stories, this is definitely for you. I also love the aspect of the alternating timelines as well. It was just a great book. It was a great book. 10 out of 10, definitely recommend. All right, now I'm going to go into the books that I read on Kindle. So for sure, I read Epic Book 1 and Epic Book 2. I am now starting Epic Book 3, which, like I said, is a spinoff to A Moth to a Flame. The Epic book series is a spinoff from this book, A Moth to a Flame. And the Ethic series follows the character Ethic in detail, what he goes through after the events of A Moth to a Flame, and how he's growing as a person. And we also catch up with his whole crew. He now has Morgan in tow, as well as a son and a daughter. And it's pretty much about a father. And I was laughing to myself when my husband mentioned that, because he was asking me to explain what the book was about. And I was telling him about the other book and how it was a spinoff. And he was like, "So this is a book about a dad?" And I was like, "Yeah." It is a book about a dad, and he's a great dad. He's a great father. There are other things in his life that he wishes were different, that he can improve upon, and he goes through that process in the book. All these books are urban books. I'm trying to see if I would classify the first two Ethic books as urban romances, because there was a lot of heartache in those books, but it was so good. It was definitely a page turner. Definitely a page turner. I enjoyed them. And then the last book that I read in the month of April is called 40 Hours with a Stranger. I'm going to show you guys that on Kindle. So that is what the book looks like. Hopefully I can find the actual color version of the book and place it up here for you guys to see. But I really enjoyed 40 Hours with a Stranger as well. And let me read the synopsis for you guys. Ashlyn finds herself at a crossroads, debating whether to follow her own dreams or to appease her father by staying with the family business. Additionally, her relationship with her fiancé is becoming more distant, leaving Ashlyn questioning their engagement. However, when some unexpected news arises, Ashlyn embarks on a journey across the country, further complicating her situation. Ever since his brother's passing, Nicholas has been in a downward spiral. He's been disillusioned and hurt throughout his life, causing him to lose faith in others, especially women. When an individual from his past resurfaces, he becomes resolved to travel across the country to fill the void in his heart by seeking revenge. Join both individuals over the course of the next 40 hours as secrets and dark pasts are revealed, leading the two to form an unforeseen bond. With hidden agendas and more betrayal lurking, the pair find themselves trapped in the middle of a dangerous drama and unexpected love. So Nicholas and Ashlyn were so cute. They were so cute, y'all. And pretty much that is what happens. They end up somehow meeting on a road trip, traveling across the country together, and they each have their own goal in mind. So that is why the book is called 40 Hours with a Stranger. It was a great read. It was very, very quick. I don't believe it was definitely not over 300 pages. I believe it was around two something, maybe not even two, but I don't remember exactly. Hold on. It was 201 pages. So very, very quick. You could definitely finish that in one sitting. And all the books that I read this month, I thoroughly enjoyed. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you're reading currently. I'm going to show you guys what I'm reading. So currently I'm still reading Magnolia Parks. I am 250 pages in, so hopefully I will be done either today or tomorrow. And I'm enjoying it so far. I don't know if the series is for me because it's a lot of back and forth, as people have said, but I am enjoying reading the book. So yeah, I will have my final thoughts later on. That'll definitely be in my May wrap up. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.